My name is Lucy Branca. I work for Schlumberger, which is one of the largest oil field services companies in the world. I work specifically for Schlumberger Lift Solutions, which is the rod lift segment of Schlumberger, and I work in integration and development and in putting all of these companies onto SAP Business One specifically. So the rod lift segment of Schlumberger specifically deals with the extraction of oil from the ground using the rod lift methodology, which is a pump jack, it is sucker rods, it is a downhole pump, and extracting the oil from the dirt. It's the low flow method, basically, of rod lift. Schlumberger is one of the largest oil field services companies in the world. So Schlumberger got into the rod lift market specifically so that they could have an entire life of well solution, which typically ends with rod lifting. So Schlumberger acquired all of these companies basically to complete their artificial lift portfolio. I specifically work for Schlumberger Lift Solutions, which is made up of approximately 14 acquired rod lift companies. I work to integrate those companies and to implement SAP Business One onto those companies to bring them together into one consolidated environment. I think that some of the biggest challenges we faced primarily had to do around their ERP systems. They were all on completely different systems, ranging from QuickBooks to homegrown systems. None of them were really on the same system, and they all used completely different chart of accounts and completely different business processes. What we really were looking to do was standardize all of this across the acquisitions. One of the challenges that we found was that each of these different systems had a lot of limitations. We had a lot of trouble extracting data from the systems, and a lot of them were very not user-friendly. What we wanted to do was find one system that we could put all of these companies onto that was user-friendly and would give us the information that we wanted from each of the companies. Why we ultimately went to Business One was because one of the companies was already using SAP B1, and we realized that they could help us to consolidate all of these companies onto B1 in an expedited fashion. So one of the things that we really liked about SAP B1 was the FieldVu add-on. It allowed us to get a lot of detail on job costing and a lot of the data that we really couldn't see in our other ERP systems. Having that visibility was really important to us because we wanted to be able to see which jobs were profitable and which jobs weren't. By using FieldVu, we could get into this job level detail that we really couldn't access in our other systems. We were able to standardize across all of our acquired companies. A few of those things that we've standardized have been our chart of accounts, our business partner codes, and all of our best practices and processes. By standardizing the chart of accounts across all the companies, we're able to consolidate in a very simple fashion. Schlumberger, as a major company, reports to the streets, and it's critical that we're able to pull financials together in a very timely manner at the end of the month. I think that the biggest efficiency that we've realized is the timeliness in which we can deploy these implementations. We've managed to bring on approximately 10 companies in the past year plus, and we've brought them all on within 60 to 90 days. And as we've done so, we've been able to consolidate some positions, and we've basically just been able to have a more efficient closing process, and we can close our books very quickly and report those numbers up to Schlumberger in a much timelier fashion than we could when we were using 10 different ERP systems. I think that we're able to better serve our customers just in the way that we are able to pull information for them very quickly when they need it. We have a very clear picture of what our inventory is. We have a very clear picture of what assets are available to use, and therefore we can deploy them to service our customers much quicker than I think the average company could. The FieldVu mobility solution specifically is wonderful in that it eliminates the physical paper trail from field ticket to job packet to AR invoice. It streamlines the process and makes it move much quicker. Our people who are on the ground at the well sites can manipulate field tickets on the spot. They can have the company man sign it on the spot, and it can go pretty much straight to AR invoice at that moment. The nice thing about the SAP Business One and FieldVu application is that it's much more tailored to these small to medium-sized companies. You're able to extract data much easier than you would out of the SAP ECC, and therefore for these smaller companies, it's a much more useful tool when they really need to be able to dig into their system and see what's going on. I think that SAP and FieldVu are a great solution for any oilfield services company because you have the ability to job cost, to look at the details, to do a field ticket at the well site, do a lot of things that are really tailored to that industry. I would really recommend, if you're struggling with too much paper and too many field tickets, to move towards a solution like FieldVu Mobility. I think that having a man at the well site who's working on his field ticket and is saying, this is how many hours I worked, and this is the inventory that I used, and this is the equipment that I used, and then having a company man sign off on that right then, it really eliminates the back and forth that typically goes on.